So there's a word for being around other people that have interesting connectivity that gives you asset energy that connects to you, that corresponds to economic activity, that corresponds to your connectiveness, to how you can benefit from this connectivity in the way to turn your own energy into asset energy, for example. And I will tell you that word, that definition, that is wait till the end to get that information, that definition. Yeah, welcome to the news. So anyway, today at Dink Tech Change for Games Studios, what we are trying to get at to you today is how to use quantum energy healing, in essence, to reverse engineer the concept and the process to be able to, in essence, correspond to connecting to existing products in the marketplace to develop a sense of community to begin with by just connecting different products to be able to also develop your own sort of entrepreneurship game, more or less like almost like an animated game, like you put yourself inside of a game and make pretend playing, like almost like playing investing, but just using paper money, kind of, but it's like doing that, but in a different sense, almost where you kind of take yourself and put yourself in the mix, and then in essence kind of trade and translate yourself for a cartoon character. And in essence, in this game, in this day and age, more or less what we've got is kind of this cartoon game anyways, because where we're at in terms of life, technology, science fiction, and all these things that are sort of coming together and merging together, you can in essence pay yourself into this sort of game like a child life cartoon game, more or less world type of a situation. And in essence, what you also do as in this paper trading, paper investing, meaning fake imaginative type of investing type of game, which we're translating and transposing the actual world for a fake trading investing game in this instance. And how we do that is by animating the concepts that correspond to your own character and making everything bubbly and characterized by cartoon characters that are bubbly and focused on just friendly looking characters and characterizations of this whole process, because that helps along the whole mindsets to make it more gamified and kidified and make it like a kid again, being a kid again, so you're able to play this like a kid with just pretending and being able to use the imagination of pretending to get into actually potentially conceivably investing in real life, to be able to make your own little process and little entrepreneurship pathway to be able to develop your own little conceptual conceivable business that can start as a pretend game. And that is sort of the purpose of today's podcast. So in essence, you want to try to align with different technologies that, in essence, are kind of like, I'll take one step back, actually, is like looking at yourself as a vehicle, which is something I've referred to many times in the past. And at the same time, our body is like a vehicle, and so we can get around and we can transport ourselves around in life. And so that is kind of like a vehicle. So in that respect, what I'm talking about is, in essence, researching technology somewhat like an investor, but more so just like someone who wants to help the world. Just kind of looking around the whole entire world and seeing how best to be able to try to assist the world by leveraging technology and what's available with technology and what's coming available in technology and what and how it is possible to try to be able to conceptually leverage the use of that technology in a fictitious cartoon imaginative sense, so that maybe one day conceptually it's possible to conceivably transpose the two worlds, in the cartoon world, in the fake world, developing conceptual flow, energy flow, potential conceptual energy flow based on the conceptual logistics and the connection of different conceptual potential, different technologies, so that that energy can actually connect with the actualization of conceptual actualization and realization of conceivable potential energy becoming connected in different fashions, so the different technologies can flow together, similar to an engine, and different aspects of different energies of different technologies being able to come together somewhat like an engine to be able to develop some kind of a packaged end result conceivably from just being able to study different technologies that are out there, so to speak, to be able to try to package your own process and conceptualize a different energy and airflow process from one piece to another to be able to conceive of how those could conceptually benefit the world in the best way possible. And that, therefore, could be like a fun activity. Basically, kind of like an erector set, or like just any kid game, basically, where you get a box of Legos or a race car set and you dump it on the floor, basically. But in this adult world, in this adult game, you've got the news and the newspapers and like YouTube videos and different items and different characterizations, where in essence, you can feel the power of different technology because you can research about it and you can see that certain things are new and you can see that certain things have just come out and certain things that are innovated on other sorts of things. And these are like different parts that you're putting onto your floor, like when you're first putting all the parts from a Toys R Us has a race car set on the ground in essence, and you dump everything on the ground to be able to look at how you want to develop the racetrack so all of your electric cars are able to race in a certain fashion, and you get to build the racetrack also at a certain fashion so that in essence the cars take right turns and left turns in certain ways, and there's a little bumps and weaves and wobs so that you in essence have the ability to manipulate the course based on your preference, because that is what that road and track that comes in that little set of pieces allows you to do by putting it together in a certain fashion, so you have the ability to a little bit improvise in the process. So how you want to try to do this in the world is being able to actually connect your own vehicle, your mentality of your own person body as a vehicle, by connecting the mindset of the conceptualization of what these technologies do, by actually conceiving and such of how to conceptualize through your mindset, through this pretend game, how these technologies, by acknowledging how they exist, how they acknowledge how they could better your own world in a fictitious, imaginative sense. If you don't have the money to necessarily buy these conceptual tools, how they could benefit your life, and how you could see that they could conceivably benefit your life or other people's lives by just knowing that these technologies exist. Just playing this research game, this research and development conceptual game where you're researching in your brain, you're researching in your mind, and you're penciling and sketching different ways of different cross-hatching, different conceptual opportunities of how these different products and different processes and different technologies that are coming out consistently could benefit the world in different ways and benefit different markets based on this imaginative game, because the game itself is how to better the world, how to improve the world, how to make the world a better place. In essence, packaging these things, some different technologies makes them more powerful. So in essence, you're combining them to be also like attaching them to your own body, to your own engine. You're kind of like making your own transformer body type of a process, type of a suit, as you tack on these mentalities just by acknowledging that these products exist just by knowing that certain elements and certain aspects, when packaged together, are able to benefit and help the whole world prosper in a forward motion sense. Then you can therefore are able to feel and just like accept almost the power of new technology just by knowing that it exists. It's not necessarily that well known in all of the rest of the world, and by being able to part different aspects of different energy flows of different pieces of different technology together, you can make your own connection in your own brain that those powers are actually connected to you just because you know about them. So it's kind of like going forward in time, because everyone else in the world doesn't necessarily even know about them necessarily. And so by being able to know that they exist already, you're looking forward in time and you're being able to piece together different parts off of your own exact vehicle as a person, as a body and a vehicle, and that therefore allows you to be able to build your own transformer suit and build your own process by feeling what these possible technologies can possibly do, by seeing how you would use them yourself. And by building a process that would better your own life, so that therefore you can speak to markets that are greater, wider, bigger, larger demographics, that therefore could speak to a larger, bigger audience, that therefore could benefit the world. In essence, then the whole purpose of how you would use it to begin with just for yourself is to try to benefit the world anyway. So any ways that you would use it, it's like you're tacking on these different parts to yourself, like making your own Godzilla type of a characterization, like your own little Godzilla suit. That's a massive Godzilla suit that you're making different parts and pieces that like maybe doesn't look exactly like Godzilla. Godzilla is its own creature, and that's copywritten by the movie that made Godzilla, but you're making your own version, in essence, of Godzilla, basically by developing your own parts and pieces of different technology to be able to try to continue to better the world, and finding through research different gaps in different marketplaces for different reasons that different technologies exist, in essence, and you're leaking through from one country to another and one market to another, and you're closing the gap, just like a lake going from one lake to another, and when it's raining a little bit at a time, so that in essence, just like with global warming, you've got excess raining and excess floods and excess warming and excess flowing of water from one lake to another and one stream to another, and it's all happening because of global warming. And that's part of one of the things that I'm referring to as well. If you see products in the marketplace, if you see things such as different solar panel innovations, in essence, like Tesla's been doing, to be able to try to get through politics, so that politics and politicians can be able to come around and try to stop sacrificing the health of the actual world and find a way to be able to try to break through that silence, to be able to help people to be able to get through the message, to be able to just conceive of this and play this pretend game in a cartoon sense in your mind, so that maybe one day it's conceivably possible to be able to transpose those true realities in the fake cartoon world for the real world, conceivably someday. Conceptually, if you have the right connections, the right partnerships, the right realizations, especially looking through the vessel of social media and certain aspects where you can reach out to certain people as tools that are kind of like a kidified game or a gamification process. Whereas as well, if you're talking to people as though it's a game, you get other people involved and excited to be able to want to help you as well if it is a game, for instance. So in essence, as you continue to learn about different products and different tools, like 100 by 100 miles apparently of solar power energy can apparently power all of the United States to be able to try to then therefore make that many fossil fuel energies be detracted from the planet Earth. If, for example, those type of things can be conceived of and implemented, you can absorb that power into your own body and continue to build your own framework for your own continuous vessel that you're trying to build in terms of a mindset and in terms of a mental vehicle to be able to try to better the world. And you're taking on that energy, and by proxy, by connectiveness, you are attaching these capabilities to yourself because you become an investor just based on mentality, and that's not necessarily about money, but it's about capabilities. It's about mental water flow. It's about mental water flow, being able to know the most parts of the world and how the most mechanics of the most parts in different economies and different places and spaces in every country in the world are able to have certain interests and advantageous benefits from your mindset by knowing how one piece from one country is able to benefit from other pieces in other countries, and being able to look over different walls and different spaces and different places by being able to play the pretend investor game, so that in essence you're just looking to better the world. And that in essence also is a matter of leaking all of the mindset pools together and having the water from one pool go to another pool to be able to solve problems from one pool to another pool, just by practicing the investing game by researching and information. Information is the new commodity. That is the new gold. Information is the new gold. So in essence, that's practicing of investing, is practicing information conceptualization. That is the new gold, is information. So if you have that information, you're ahead of the curve. You're ahead of the trends. You know things because you can just see how one thing connects to the other by studying the whole entire world. The whole entire world as an ecosystem. To try to better the whole world betters you as an investor at the same time. And then you can continue to make your Godzilla suit. And at the same time, you can acknowledge that everybody in the world has their own body, their own vehicle. But for the most part, what society teaches is everybody to look inside of themselves. They teach everybody to look internally. So a lot of times it causes people to become lost because they are told and taught to be able to just find things, to be able to buy things for themselves. And they're not told to be able to make these vehicles. So in essence, by proxy, you're in essence going outdoors and you're also teaching other people how to become entrepreneurs. And this is like an entrepreneurship game. So this vehicle, most people don't know where they're driving their vehicle. Most people don't know how to, are not looking down the road far enough to be able to try to continue to play this world healing game necessarily. So in essence, it's kind of like a quantum healing game. More or less, it's kind of like a quantum healing game because you're healing yourself. You're healing society by playing this game yourself. You're also healing this game, healing society by having other people play this game with you in essence. And this is quantum healing energy because you're going outside and you're able to connect with nature because you're connecting with the whole entire world just through your mindset, just through your mentality, just through your vibrations, just through your frequencies. And by having this connection with entrepreneurship and this concept of how to play this game in this cartoon fashion and making it like a kid again, being able to play with the highest frequencies that you're born with in essence, which is like when you're a kid, you have the highest interest and ability to be able to want to play like a kid when you're a kid, obviously. And so this cartoonified, gamified game of making investing like a kid game in essence again makes it so you can connect with every other people or every other aspect of the world in essence to be able to try to better the whole entire world. And you're also by proxy trying to spread in essence the essence of the interest to be able to play this game with all other people in the world, because all other games are in essence more fun and most fun when played with other people in essence. So you want this mindset to be able to spread, and so you can have this quantum healing aspect, quantum healing of quantum energy that is quantum healing energy that corresponds to quantum healing yourself and corresponding to quantum healing all of society at the same time as a whole, because in essence it is very much the cause that people get lost because they don't know how to drive their own vehicle, because they don't have a destination down the road, because they're not trying to help the world, because society has told them and taught them to look internally. And so if you're trying to drive inside of yourself, you don't really have anywhere else to drive necessarily. And that's the whole purpose. That's the whole point. And that's quantum healing, frequency, energy, and medicine at the same time, in essence. Another thing that is sort of notorious in terms of quantum conceptual connection and healing to nature, connectivity to nature is somewhat that I've heard before in the past is like something known as microdosing of cannabis. Microdosing of cannabis is something that has the ability to shift and twinge and to have sometimes to tune into some aspects of quantum conceptual healing medicine in terms of so to speak. And so, in essence, the word that was at the very beginning of the episode that it was going to be mentioned at the end of the episode, in essence, is economic connectiveness. It's economic connectedness. And that's what this quantum energy connection full circle process is able to complete the circle with, in essence, is economic connectedness. It's a matter of a theory that corresponds to being next to people that, in essence, are corresponding to people that are doing things that are at a higher frequency, in essence, that earn higher money, for example, to be around people that are at a higher frequency. And those people also inspire the new technologies and the uses of new technologies to be able to learn how to best use, best case, best result, best outcome, shortest work done on your part to be able to try to realize the highest potential for the best uses, best case scenarios for specific technologies and the best outcomes and hopefully the best CEOs and the best processes to follow and the best outcomes and the best asset energy to be able to pursue and follow. And it's economic connectedness. It's a word called economic connectedness, which corresponds to being in proxy and next to the highest frequency of people, of higher earners, of highest mentors, of highest output mentors, of highest impact people, of all of these type of energies that correspond to asset energy that in essence can connect your economic connectedness to the greater global philanthropy energy grid. It's something that I call the global philanthropy energy grid at Dink Tack Change for Game Studios. We call it the global philanthropy energy grid because that's what we're trying to get. That's everyone to be able to be able to build together, everybody to be able to build the global philanthropy energy grid together, and to be able to have everybody be able to realize this game and have everybody be able to play like kids all around the world so that everybody has this high-tuned, high-frequency ability to be able to tap into how to best possibly enhance the whole world collectively every single day, which then therefore resonates so everybody's economic connectedness is the highest frequency energy possible, and that we're resonating collectively at the highest, best conceivably optimized frequency for the whole world to be able to be reciprocating back to our asset energy that we're speaking into life, and at the same time, like shelter animals and shelter pets and animals as a whole in life are able to also correspond to us as we treat the earth better, as we try to detract all of the negative elements in the ozone layer as we move into clean energy and hopefully clean eating, and also helping shelter animals and helping all animals and helping different animals be relieved from and cleared from the animal shelters, in essence, to be able to connect with our economic connectedness by resonating with our highest frequencies, and also having the ability to understand that our economic connectedness is enhanced by shelter animals and pets show us the way to act like kids again. That's all for now. Dinky Tech Change for Games Studios. Dinky Tech Change for Games. Bye, peace, bye. Dink Tech Change for Games. Dink Tech, bye. Bye, peace, bye.